Coming up in today's video, we're going to be talking about Brock Lesnar, Jon Jones, and Naomi. It's all happening right now on The Angle Show. Very big stories along the way. We're going to kick things off with Naomi. Hopefully this is the last update. I'm tired of talking about Naomi, but at the end of the day, we're here to keep you guys updated. So now the Naomi situation continues to unravel because Naomi is being advertised for another event that's not WWE. And of course, a lot of people are thinking that she was coming back to WWE because there was previous reports that suggested Naomi coming back to WWE was a sure thing. But now she's going to be taking bookings that aren't involved with WWE. So it just becomes really, really confusing. So if you guys didn't know, Naomi was booked for this is her first wrestling related appearance since she walked out of WWE. In January, it was initially reported by Alvarez that Naomi is expected to return to WWE, while Meltzer also reported that same week she was in talks with WWE, but nothing was signed. So now she's been announced for WrestleCon as Trinity Fatu, and this will be taking place in Los Angeles, March 30th through April 2nd. So if you're wondering whether or not Trinity Fatu, Naomi is coming back to WWE, my guess at this point, based on everything we've heard so far, it's probably not happening. It's a very strange situation, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
Today's video is brought to you by our good friends at Wrestling GM. It's a free-to-play mobile game available on iOS and Android, and it allows you to take full creative control of your own wrestling promotion. The best part is the options are endless. You have the abilities to create a show that has a minimum of 90-minute runtime, so therefore you can set up promos, debuts, backstage attacks, you could set up some matches, and by the way, the match types are absolutely sick. I don't remember the last time I've seen a Inferno match or Buried Alive match on TV anyways, and thankfully this game allows you to do all of it with full control. Now the cool thing is this game also has a really dope community on Reddit, so if you guys see me on there, make sure you say hi. I've been playing it for the last few days and I want you guys to join me, so to get started, go ahead and check out the link in the description. Thank you to Wrestling GM for sponsoring today's video.
And with that being said, we're going to turn our attention to Jon Jones. And this is all going to make sense in a second. Why am I talking about Jon Jones, the UFC heavyweight? Well, Jon Jones was recently talking about wanting to fight Brock Lesnar. Now, if you're a fan of MMA and you're a fan of UFC, then you know Jon Jones versus Brock Lesnar was something that was often hyped about, but it never actually came to fruition. So now Jon Jones was doing an interview and he spoke about this, and he says that he thinks fighting Brock Lesnar would have been really cool. Jones also stated, you know, Brock isn't the most technical fighter, but he has a massive fan base. He's a lot bigger than me, and it would have been one of those cool David versus Goliath situations. It would have been cool for cross-sport promoting, and I think we both would have done great things for our family and for our team. You know, financially, that would have been massive. Never say never, Brock, if you're out there. So you might be wondering why I'm actually talking about this. Why is this a topic? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there are tons of reports about Brock Lesnar, and this is where things get incredibly interesting. We're going to throw this up on the screen right here, my friends, because Brock Lesnar reportedly told some people in the WWE that he was finishing up. And of course, there's mixed reports about this, and again, nobody really knows what is happening here, but the possibility of Brock Lesnar leaving the WWE can happen literally at any moment in time. And now we're going to talk about it. PW Insider has noted that Brock Lesnar was saying farewell to some people and that he was finishing up. It was not said what finishing up meant. A source noted that Lesnar was not necessarily done on that night or even WrestleMania. It remains to be seen if that means Brock is going to be hanging up the boots for good or if he will be taking another extended break. It's worth noting that in previous years, Brock's contract would typically expire around WrestleMania time, so that might be what is going on here. Now, an update from PW Insider later on via social media. No one at PW Insider reported Brock's WWE deal was currently up or that he was finished with pro wrestling. Incorrect versions of what was actually reported already floating around. Beware. Shout out to Wrestling News Co. for aggregating this story because, again, there's tons of mixed reports here. A lot of people don't know what's going on. But the idea that Brock Lesnar could, in fact, leave WWE is very well on the table. The idea that Brock Lesnar has reportedly told some people that he was finishing up with the company is also quite concerning. But also at the same time, let's talk about Jon Jones for a second. Jon Jones is going into a massive fight with Cyril Gane this weekend on UFC. If he wins, he's the UFC heavyweight champion. If you're Brock Lesnar, health-wise, can you handle being in MMA? Because we all know with Brock Lesnar, it's all about the payday. Dana White setting up, he's lacking some big-time matchups for the UFC, by the way, for the heavyweight division. Jon Jones versus Brock Lesnar can easily happen. Does Brock Lesnar necessarily have to leave WWE for that to happen? No, I think Triple H, fan of combat sports, understands he's been to UFC events. I think him and Nick Khan both understand that having Brock Lesnar involved in this match could be good business. And just like Jon Jones suggested as well, this is a big money maker for their families, for their teams, and it's obviously a big-time, massive matchup. So Brock Lesnar doesn't necessarily need to leave WWE in order to do UFC. But is it a potential situation that could actually happen? Yes. Now, I also want to throw an AEW in the mix. Whether you think Brock Lesnar fits in AEW or not, Brock Lesnar historically has been a big draw for WWE. I would expect that to carry over for AEW. So therefore, don't be surprised if Brock Lesnar's contract does eventually expire and he does not choose to stay with WWE. Don't be surprised if Tony Khan were to maybe be interested in making that phone call. Tony Khan's got money. He needs big help with creating some big stories for AEW, and AEW needs a big splash. Brock Lesnar could be that guy. Yeah, he ain't going to be doing a shooting star press off the top of a ladder onto another person, and no, he probably ain't going to be working every single week on Dynamite. But if you're Tony Khan, I think you make that call. I think it makes a lot of sense to make that call. And I think if you're Brock Lesnar and you could get paid millions and millions of dollars and you don't have to work that much, I think it makes a lot of sense. But is Brock Lesnar leaving WWE? That's the big question here. I really don't know the answer. I don't think anybody knows the answer. Again, mixed reporting, it's an issue, but it's being talked about. There's things about Brock Lesnar that have come out, that his contract expires soon. When his contract expires, he might be retiring. If Brock Lesnar retires, he had a great career. If Brock Lesnar stays with WWE, cool. But the reason why I bring this up is because he did reportedly turn down wrestling Bray Wyatt, and he accepted the match with Omos. If Brock Lesnar is leaving the WWE, regardless of what he does next, he ain't losing, he's losing to Omos. That's for sure happening. There is no way that Brock Lesnar is going to walk out of the company and leave the company and not put over Omos. So that right there, my friends, is it's something to pay attention to. I think we'll know a little bit more by the time WrestleMania comes around. But if Brock Lesnar loses to Omos, Brock Lesnar is gone from the company. And if you're Brock Lesnar is a Vince McMahon guy. It's always been said he was a Vince McMahon guy. Vince McMahon's no longer there. The company could potentially be selling very soon. If you're Brock Lesnar, do you really have a need to stay? Probably not. Let me know what you guys think down below.